how you define also what wisdom is in life?
There's two ways I define wisdom.
Mm.
First of all, is that if you want to become a wiser person, you need to look inward. You need to understand yourself. You cannot develop wisdom if you don't know yourself. Now, what I mean by that is self-awareness. The more self-awareness you have, the easier it is to develop yourself into becoming the next phase of your journey. And knowing yourself is knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, your talents, your gifts, your skills, because then that gives you insight onto what to focus your energy on. So that's one part of wisdom. One part of wisdom is knowing yourself and how well you know yourself. The deeper your level of self-awareness, the greater the probability that you'll develop into a very powerful human being. The second part of wisdom is the echo of experience.
Wow.
If you can build a wide portfolio of experience, try things, test ideas, then you will acquire wisdom very quickly. Because most people won't try things. Most people won't take action on their ideas. But if you are always having that bias to action, if you are always accumulating experiences, then through that, you're going to gain wisdom. Because that wisdom comes through knowing what works, what doesn't work, how to negotiate, how to work with people, how to hire the right people. All of these things build your wisdom. And the way to get there quicker is to just have more experiences.
Wow. As a founder of helloNEWNESS, our platform, I really want to say thank you for that message you just say. Try something new, something new and experience something new, because that's how you will be able to build the experience and the wisdom in life, right? How do you define what wisdom is?
So wisdom is a mixture of things to me. It's what you've learned and you've taken the lesson from, but what you also learn from your higher self. Not just from this self. What has the higher self told you? That's when you're listening to the higher self. So you're becoming aware that you do have a higher self, you know, and wisdom comes from that higher self, not from this self that's sitting here. That higher self that says, you know, yeah, I learned that lesson, but here's a better lesson in that lesson.
If you can carry the book with you now in travel time and sit next to your father, you know, and have a word about what the book had taught you about his journey, about your journey, and about the things you want to contribute into his to this life because of, you know, his diary in the book. So what message would you tell him?
That I learned? What message to tell him that I learned?
Whatever the message you want to, you know, because you now you have the book and yourself being there with him. So
yes, well, I have to say a little preface for this is that my father has been involved in this process the whole time. And so just to share with you that when he was dying, I asked him, well, would you come back? Or, you know, would you give me a sign if you learned something on the other side? And he said, no, I'm not going to do that. My parents didn't do that. No. I said, okay. And then every step of the way, he has shown up.
Oh.
So he actually was a mystic. And I never knew that he was a mystic. So I am a mystic. And I learned that I was a mystic based on this 20-year journey. And when I say mystic, what I mean is that it's like he left breadcrumbs. Every time I got frustrated, there was another little breadcrumb. There was a person who showed up and told me something. there was a picture I discovered there, and it hasn't stopped.
Mm.
So my message is, oh, you said you weren't a mystic, ha ha. And the message out of that is let life lead you. That I understood from researching his life that he didn't know what to do. He left the Navy, went back, left the Navy, went back. He just didn't have a clear picture, and he let life lead him. Let life lead. Well, you know what I mean. He let life lead him.
Yes.
Which gave me the permission to let life lead me.
Wow. Isn't it beautiful that you go into the unknown and start as a learner again and again and again and again, to keep yourself young, to keep your mind young, to learn and relearn and unlearn everything around you, right? And maybe on that very same path, you'll be able to see things differently the second time. You see different things. The third time, you see different things. The fourth time, and that's actually it's so beautiful.
If you can use your own words to define what is wisdom, how is that you're gonna define it?
Oh, another great question. So I would say wisdom is the expression of understanding and lived experience in a way that elevates the understanding and lived experience and makes it available to others.
Explain it a little bit more.
Yeah, so I can teach people information about how to write a book, right? But the reason why my authors are successful is because I, of course, teach them the information, but I also create spaces and opportunities for them to gain wisdom from me, in how I explain the information, right? Because I can only I explain this information, which other people can explain, but I explain it through my lens, my experience, my understanding, my history of writing books, right? And then, so I'm explaining my information through my lens of experience, and I am creating space every time I connect with my authors for them to open up to receiving wisdom, right? By lightening their minds, by opening their hearts, by smiling. I mean, I literally tell my authors, before you sit down and write, or before you sit down and dictate, do the smiling meditation for 2 minutes, right? Lighten your mind, because at that point, with that lighter mind and lighter opened heart, whatever information they're taking in, it's not just going here, it's going here, right? And both of these things working together make for the best outcomes.
The two brains that we have,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Having knowledge is one thing. Having wisdom is really quite something else. If you ask a question to a person and they give you a response that just answers the question, that's one thing. The wisdom is not only answering the question, but putting a helpful twist on it so that you can be of value to the person that you're communicating with. When you are considering doing something or not doing something, consider, will it hurt anybody, including myself? And can it make a difference? That motivates you to think deeper and get more knowledge before you actually make a decision. Like big projects or big things that I'm thinking about, I'll think about it for 3 days minimum before I make a decision, if it's a big thing. And that gives me time for it to just see how it works inside my brain, and consequently how my brain would work taking on that decision or not taking on the decision, with the idea that nothing's right or wrong. It's, does it work for me or not? Okay, because if it doesn't work for me, I can't love me, and if I can't love me, I can't love you. So that's really, thinking is an interest in an outcome that you're searching for, whatever that is, right? The more that you read and learn about things in the world that are not really directly about you or your world around you, the better your understanding of the world, and your ability to think becomes a lot clearer. Make up your mind that you're going to be a positive influence for all of those around you, and that you will not become a negative influence for people that you don't relate to, or don't get along with you, or you don't get along with them. Don't do anything against them. Just be you, and being you will get you to the right decisions. And the right decisions for you may be the wrong decisions for somebody else, but that's their journey, not yours. Okay? And the filters things that I talked about at birth and very early on in your life, you know, that different stimuli can make you think in a certain way. But there's a point in everyone's life where their maturity gets to a level where they know right from wrong. And then it's a choice.
Wow.
The first time you do something, you didn't know it was the outcome would be what it was. That is a learning situation. The next time it happens, you made a choice. That was a conscious decision to do it again. The exact same way, you knowing the result, but you're going to do it anyway, but you think you're smarter the second time. That's all ego. Ego is a good thing to protect you. Ask yourself questions. Well, what about this? Well, what about that? That's a good thing. Using the ego to hurt someone else or to do unethical things, that's completely a different thing.